Good day. I'm Dr. Vishnu Durga from Action Coach Guyana and the Who's Who in Guyana Business Directory as well. And today I'll be delving a little bit deeper into the area of real estate with a very special guest. My guest today is Ms. Marissa DaCosta. She is the CEO of Demerara Realty. Marissa, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Vishnu. I am doing well, thanks. What about yourself?
Yep, doing extremely well. I noticed that you did make a request to talk about the importance of your realty decisions, and should people be thinking about renting or buying. And I know that we as Guyanese have a lot of other things to also think about, but where we live uh, is one of the key ones that will always be on our mind. Whatever we're dealing with right now is seasonal, it's temporary. We do need to make some longer term decisions. So, Marissa, before we jump into the topic here about, should we rent, should we buy, what are the benefits of owning, how to make that decision. Before we jump into that, just tell me a little bit more about Demerara Realty. And in the meantime, I'll also pull up your website and your Facebook page. So tell me a little bit more about the background of Demerara Realty. What do you guys focus on?
So, Demerara Realty is a real estate company, as the name might imply. So, we will sell properties. We will also connect buyers to sellers. We do property management. We do leasing. We can certainly look at your different needs and we can assist you with financial as well as legal advice when it surrounds real estate. So that's basically Demerara Realty in a nutshell. We provide properties for both residential and commercial purposes. So you can connect with us via our website. And I see you have that up, Vishnu. That is www.properties.gy or www.demerararealty.com. You can connect with us on 640-5555 or 223-5555. And if you need any further information on it, or there's a specific question that you may have to some of the services we offer, you can always feel free to check out our Facebook page, or you can visit our website. You can also email us at info@demerararealty.com. So that's pretty much how you can connect with us in a nutshell.
Good. So thank you very much for that. So let's jump into this particular discussion here.
Sure.
Renting. Should people rent or should they buy? Is it as easy, is it as black and white as that?
This is a question I get quite a lot from prospective clients. Most of them, whenever people make this decision, it's usually when they're at a crossroads in their life. They can choose to either make the change because of a lifestyle that they're looking for, or they can make the change based on financial commitments. So it's always a major life decision. And it is maintaining affordability, because some people may opt to maintain that through renting, and of course, finding comforts that suit their changing needs. So when making these life-altering decisions, you need to seriously consider the added financial discipline needed. So I use that keyword, that key phrase there, financial discipline. If you're when renting, you need to have financial discipline anyway, because remember, you're committing yourself to paying a monthly rental. But with a mortgage, you need to ask yourself, can I commit to paying at least 25% more of my income towards a mortgage? That is also a fixed financial expense, but then there are other expenses that also come with it. So this major commitment, whether it's renting or homeownership, it affects three aspects of your life. First of all, your spending power, as you'll have less liquid cash to spend at the end of the month. It affects your lifestyle, as I mentioned before. You'll be less likely to splurge and cut back on those every weekend drinks. And thirdly, your ability to build up substantial cash savings, and that's your liquid assets, because that goes right back into your mortgage, more or less.
That actually sounds very scary, right? Less
Yes.
splurge, and we love splurging. So So what do we need to look at when it comes to each one of these options?
So you need to look at the pros and cons of both. So, and it all depends on what you are ready to commit to and what you already have. So don't be daunted by the choice. And with Guyanese, we're always pro ownership, I think, because it helps us to build long-term wealth. And renting wasn't necessarily seen as an investment in yourself. So it's not necessarily better either way unless you have the discipline to your financial position. So with renting, we often look upon somebody else to look after the maintenance. So you have your landlord takes care of the maintenance expenses. You have a fixed monthly rental expense. They will handle repairs. You can just pick up yourself and move out, and you're okay. But what if the landlord, you need to ask yourself at some point down the road, what if the landlord decides to sell that property? Where does that put you?
Maybe they sell you together with the building. You never know. But
Probably.
one thing
It
that I
happens.
haven't said as yet is, anyone having, I thank you, Marlon, as well. Marlon is giving you a big thumbs up. But anyone that has any questions when it comes to real estate, realty, renting, buying, we may not be able to handle it immediately. You never know. But I'm sure that Marissa is going to be checking on the messages and the comments to also be able to give you some further advice. So please tell me, are they going to sell me together with the building if I'm renting there, Marissa?
Possibly. There have been quite a few horror stories, but no, I hope not. But those are things you need to seriously consider. In either instance, whether you're renting or you have a home, you still have the cost of finding money to live somewhere. That's an expense. That's cost of living. And whether it is home ownership or it's renting, the thing is that the rental is predictable, whereas with home ownership, it's not necessarily predictable. You have added expenses. There may be surprise expenses, like you may have to repair plumbing, or you may have to fix a fence, or do some other home improvement. And of course, it's always the backlash of finding a contractor who's suitable to do the job. That's always the pro and the con of home ownership versus renting. Whereas with renting, you don't have that headache. You can simply, say, okay, landlord, you deal with this for me, please. And you're done with that. The only other thing to that is that the landlord may take his sweet time to get it done. So it's up to you.
So might have to wait the weekend in case any plumbing is damaged.
Yes, correct. Definitely.
But what are the benefits of home ownership then?
So first of all, there are two types. One is tangible, which is your feelings of stability, belonging, accomplishment with home ownership. And then there's the tangible ones, because you have equity now, you have an asset, you have a home. So this, of course, builds up your credibility, your credit rating, and your finances, your financial position. So it's not an investment. Home ownership is not an investment for everybody. I've actually known persons who were close to permanent migration, and then they invested in purchasing a home. And when they were ready to sell less than a year later, there were significant costs attached to selling, such as capital gains tax, and then there were legal fees. So because they had sold so close, they had the legal fee of not only purchasing, but then the legal fee of also selling. So that wasn't a wise investment, because they were not in it for the long haul. They weren't in it for the long term. And that, in effect, cost them a little bit more. So there are other overall costs attached to owning your home, such as property taxes. You've got rates and taxes. You've got fire and flood insurance. You've got creditors' life insurance, although some banks may include the creditor's life as part of the mortgage payment. So that depends on the policies of the bank. And then you've got to pay for water, you've got to pay for sewer services, trash services, although I find that minimal. Repairs, of course, and the big one, the surprise repairs and maintenance. And then you've got things like pest control and so.
Yeah, especially if it's not a new building, right? If it is a
Yes.
building that is at least, I would say, from about 10 years and older. If a building isn't very well built, it could be, and this is the engineer in me jumping out. Um, Maybe if it's not well built, within 5 years, you start facing a lot of issues when it comes to repair maintenance. If it's well built, it usually starts kicking in from about 10 years. So if you are buying a already built home, it's important to know a little bit about the history of the house as well, and do a very good inspection.
Well said, Dr. Durga, because I paid a pretty penny to learn that one. My husband and I actually did buy a fixer-upper. We gutted the entire home. And within 6 years, we had issues with the foundation. So we had that expense, and that took us quite a chunk. So I agree with you. I fully endorse that. Fixer-uppers, be cautious. And so my advice to potential homeowners, have your contractors check it out. Check out the property. Don't just take it at face value and say, oh, well, it looks nice. It might have a nice coat paint on it, but not necessarily, you know, the best option. So do your shopping around. Eventually, the whole point of this is to make a decision as to whether or not you're going to rent or own. So 3 simple steps: talk to your bank first. Your loan officer helps you to determine how much you're qualified to borrow based on your earnings. So there's something called debt service. And most banks, for example, so let's say you're earning $100,000 a month. Most banks will say, okay, we don't want you to starve. We want you to still be able to service the loan. And as such, they will take, if you are a salaried employee, your income is more fixed, it's a little bit more secure. And as such, they would probably looking at your debt service of about 40%. So they will say, okay, here's what. We don't expect that your mortgage payment should exceed $40,000 a month. So this is how much you qualify for based on that. And they will help you with the calculations. Of course, you can always feel free to use our mortgage calculator as well, just using the percentages that I just provided there. And 35% is usually used for self-employed persons, primarily because self-employed persons are a little bit more risky. And remember, business may not always be doing that well, and they've got fixed overhead expenses that they got to pay employees. So it may be a little bit, touch and go with self-employed persons. But with salaried employees, they know that your salary can be assigned to the bank, and it's a fixed salary that you get per month, and it's usually a better deal. So your debt service helps to determine how much you can qualify for, and and you can actually use this now, and you can also use a calculator, again, as I mentioned, to help you determine how much you can afford. And
I like that you mentioned that the banks don't want you to starve. So that is kudos to the banks. But what I notice here as well is that for a loan of about a loan of 10 million, for example, it actually works out that your monthly payment is going to be about 60,000. And if I remember correctly, the banks want you to use just about 1/3 of your gross income to service the debt. So this means that your salary needs to be about 180,000. Now, for the people who aren't as fast with mathematics as I may be, and I do hold qualifications, and I love to count. Right? There's some people who don't really like counting that much. They don't like numbers that much. Numbers confuse them. They can't figure out which number is bigger than the other number. And just some people who want to make sure that they want to confirm their own numbers. Is it possible for them to contact Demerara Realty to kind of also have a sense of the numbers?
Absolutely. I think I speak to about maybe 4 or 5 persons every week that I need that I usually sit with and go through this with them. So this was one of the main reasons why I decided to do this presentation as well, to kind of help our viewers, our audience, to get an idea of what they need to look forward to. One other thing to note there, though, Vishnu, what also helps in the qualification is also your down payment. So whatever savings you have also helps to either decrease or increase that loan payment per month. So
very good, very good. Anything else people need to consider when making that buying decision? You did mention talk to the bank first.
Yes, talk to your significant others. Um, remember
Did
this
you say,
is
Marissa, did you say others? How many significant others?
oh my goodness,
Where
Vishnu.
we are proposing thus that everyone in Guyana only has one significant other.
Well, in that context, I meant so. For example, parents may
All right.
join with children or spouse. You
Mm.
know, so that's how I meant others, not as in
We have to
more
be
than
very
one spouse.
careful. We have to be very careful before people think that we're promoting. Although it could actually help with the loan servicing if you have significant others, right? But that's another topic.
Definitely. So two incomes are always better than one because you qualify for more, you can afford more.
Very good.
So
Very good.
combined salaries are always recommended.
Mm.
Remember, this is a vision. This is the vision for your life. This is for your comfort. So
Mm.
as comfortable as you can be with the choice that you've made, go for it.
Very good.
The last one, talk to other sorry, homeowners. Talk to other homeowners. You got me a bit confused with the others there.
Yeah.
So wisdom comes through experience, and it's better to learn from experience from others than to frustrate yourself with having to go through it. So owning a home also gives you leverage for further financing and it builds your credit history. I think I mentioned this before,
Yeah.
but talking to other homeowners, you may find that you may get a little bit more insight as to some of the expenses. And it also depends on the area that you're living in as well.
Mm.
So, for example, my rates and taxes are not that great or not that tremendous because I live in what is considered a country area.
Mm.
Whereas in Georgetown, your rates and taxes may be exorbitant. So that's what I meant when I say talk to other homeowners because there may be things there that you find out that you weren't aware before.
Mm. Very good. Very good. So in the final analysis here, am I to assume then that the whole question of renting and buying is something that is very personal to the
Absolutely.
to every
Absolutely.
individual? Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's not just a financial decision, it's an emotional decision as well.
Mhm.
Um, of course, you can feel free to connect with Demerara Realty at any point in time, 223-5555, 640-5555, and we can certainly help you make that decision. Who knows, you'll find a property that you like. Maybe you'll decide that renting is the way is better for you. Or you can put that on a back burner for now and then work towards building up your liquid assets in order to be able to afford the kind of properties that you're looking for.
Good. Well, Marissa, thank you very much for taking the time out to really educate everyone who's watching right now. You know, I also learned quite a bit about the functionality of the website as well. So I would encourage people to visit properties.gy, see what's happening there, and if something catches your eye, make contact with the company, make contact with Marissa. And Marissa keep doing the fantastic job of matching people with their dream houses, their dream um, offices. And I encourage you to come on back. You know, whenever you have something that you'd like to share when it comes to real estate, feel free to reach out, and we'll keep educating the public. Thank you,
Thank you.
Marissa.
Thank you so much to Vishnu and have a great day to our viewers.
Welcome. Viewers, please share. Please make sure that many people get this info because everybody needs to be able to really have a home that they enjoy. Take care.